Why most people stay poor. Introduction. Have you ever wondered why some people work hard every single day, yet never seem to escape financial struggle? Why do some people earn more money every year but still remain broke? And why do others, who started with nothing, eventually build wealth that lasts for generations? The answer isn't luck. It isn't where you were born. And it isn't simply how much money you make. The truth is far more uncomfortable. Most people stay poor because they unknowingly repeat habits and beliefs that keep them trapped for years, sometimes for their entire lives. No one teaches these habits in school. Most parents never explain them. And society often rewards the very behaviors that quietly destroy financial freedom. Today's video isn't about blaming poor people. It's about exposing the invisible patterns that keep millions stuck. Because once you recognize these patterns, you can begin replacing them with habits that create wealth instead of struggle. By the end of this video, you'll understand why most people never become financially free, and more importantly, how you can avoid making the same mistakes. Stay until the end, because the final lesson is the one that quietly controls every other reason people stay poor. Let's begin. Chapter 1. They believe money is the problem. Most people believe their financial struggles begin with a lack of money. They say things like, "If only I had more money, all my problems would disappear." But here's the truth. Money is rarely the first problem. The first problem is the way people think about money. Your beliefs determine your decisions. Your decisions create your habits. And your habits eventually become your financial reality. Many people grow up hearing statements like, "Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are dishonest. We're just not the kind of family that becomes wealthy. People like us never get ahead." After hearing these words hundreds of times, they stop questioning them. Instead, they begin living as though they're true. Without realizing it, they start avoiding opportunities because they believe wealth isn't meant for them. Others become afraid of investing because they think every investment is a scam. Some even feel guilty whenever they earn more money, as though success somehow makes them a bad person. Your subconscious mind listens to every belief you repeat. If you constantly tell yourself you're unlucky with money, your brain begins searching for evidence to prove you right. The difference between the two brothers wasn't intelligence. It wasn't talent. It wasn't even where they were born. The difference was the beliefs they accepted. One believed wealth was impossible. The other believed it was learnable. And that single belief changed the direction of his life. Lesson. Your financial future doesn't begin in your wallet. It begins in your mind. If you want different results, you must first develop different beliefs. Replace limiting thoughts with empowering ones. Instead of saying, "I can never become wealthy," ask yourself, "What skill can I learn that creates more value?" Instead of saying, "Money is evil," remind yourself, "Money is a tool. In the right hands, it can create opportunities, help families, support communities, and change lives." Every great financial journey begins with a new way of thinking. Transition to Chapter 2. But even people with the right mindset often remain poor for another powerful reason. It has nothing to do with intelligence. It has everything to do with what they do with the money they already have. And that is exactly what we'll uncover in Chapter 2. Chapter 2. They spend more than they earn. If there's one habit that silently keeps millions of people trapped in poverty, it is this. They spend money as quickly as they make it. For many people, payday doesn't bring peace. It simply starts another cycle. Their salary arrives. Bills are paid. Unnecessary shopping begins. Expensive dinners, impulse purchases, the latest gadgets, fashionable clothes, and things they don't truly need. Within days, or even hours, the money is gone. Then they spend the rest of the month worrying, borrowing, or waiting desperately for the next paycheck. This cycle repeats month after month, year after year. Eventually, it becomes normal. But here's something wealthy people understand. It's not how much you earn that determines your future. It's how much you keep and how wisely you use it. Imagine two people who both earn the same income. One spends everything. The other saves a portion, invests another portion, and lives below their means. 5 years later, their lives look completely different. Not because they earned different salaries, but because they made different decisions. Many people believe they deserve every luxury the moment they receive money. I worked hard. I deserve this. And yes, rewarding yourself isn't wrong. The problem begins when every reward becomes an expense and every expense becomes a habit. Social media has made this even worse. People compare themselves with strangers who post only the highlights of their lives. They see vacations but not the loans. Luxury cars but not the monthly repayments. Designer clothes but not the credit card debt. Without realizing it, they begin chasing a lifestyle instead of building a future. Real wealth is often quiet. Real wealth doesn't need to impress anyone. People who become financially successful often make sacrifices that others never see. They say no to unnecessary spending. They delay gratification. They choose long-term freedom over short-term excitement. That isn't always easy, but it is almost always worth it. Story: The two friends. David and Michael graduated from university in the same year. A few months later, they both got jobs with almost identical salaries. On their first payday, David decided he wanted everyone to know he was finally earning money. He bought the newest phone. He financed an expensive motorcycle. He purchased designer clothes and expensive watches. Whenever his friends invited him out, he paid the bill to look successful. Everyone admired his lifestyle. People called him the big man. Michael made different choices. He still enjoyed life, but he created a simple rule. Before spending any money, he paid his future first. He saved part of every salary. He learned about investing. He bought books instead of expensive accessories. He avoided buying things simply to impress people. His friends laughed at him. Some even called him stingy. Years passed. Then the company where they worked faced financial problems. Many employees lost their jobs. David panicked. He had no savings. His loans were still waiting to be paid. Within weeks, he was borrowing money just to survive. Michael also lost his job. But his response was completely different. Because he had built an emergency fund, he wasn't desperate. Because he had invested in learning new skills, he found freelance work while applying for new opportunities. Because he had saved consistently, he had time to think instead of rushing into bad decisions. A few years later, Michael started a successful business. David was still trying to recover from years of living beyond his means. When people looked at both men, they assumed Michael had simply been lucky. But luck had very little to do with it. His success was built one wise financial decision at a time. Lesson: every naira has a job. If you don't tell your money where to go, it will disappear without your permission. Instead of asking, "What can I buy today?" start asking, "How can this money improve my future?" Create a budget. Save before you spend. Avoid buying things just to impress people who may not even care. Remember this powerful truth. Looking rich and becoming rich are two completely different things. Many people spend years trying to look successful. Very few spend those same years actually becoming successful. Choose to become wealthy first. The appearance can wait. Transition to Chapter 3. Spending wisely is important. But there's another mistake that keeps countless people financially stuck, even those who save money. It's the belief that one paycheck is enough to build the life they dream of. In the next chapter, you'll discover why depending on a single source of income can quietly keep you poor, no matter how hard you work. Chapter 3. They depend on only one source of income. Imagine building your entire life on a chair with only one leg. Would you trust it? Of course not. The moment that single leg breaks, everything comes crashing down. Yet this is exactly how millions of people live financially. They depend on one paycheck, one employer, one customer, one source of income. As long as that money keeps coming, life feels secure. But life is unpredictable. Companies close. Businesses lose customers. Technology replaces jobs. Economic conditions change. Unexpected illness can prevent someone from working. When all your income comes from one place, your future depends on something you may not control. This doesn't mean everyone should quit their job. A steady job is valuable. The danger comes when you believe that your salary alone will build the future you dream about. Many wealthy people started with ordinary jobs. The difference is that they didn't stop there. They learned new skills after work. They started small businesses. They invested wisely. They created additional streams of income little by little. At first, those extra sources earned only a little. But over time, they grew. Eventually, the money they had planted as small seeds became strong trees. Most people never experience this because they spend all their free time consuming entertainment instead of creating opportunities. Every evening becomes another night of scrolling through social media. Another weekend disappears. Another year passes. Then one day they wonder, why am I still in the same place? The answer isn't always a lack of effort. Sometimes it's a lack of direction. Working harder at one income source has limits. Building additional sources of income creates possibilities. Story: the security guard who refused to stay stuck. A man named Joseph worked as a security guard. He worked long night shifts. His salary covered food, transport, and rent. By the end of every month, very little remained. Many of his coworkers spent their quiet night shifts watching movies or sleeping whenever they could. Joseph made a different decision. Every night, he carried a notebook. During his breaks, he studied free online courses. He learned digital skills. He practiced every day. The beginning wasn't exciting. His first attempts were poor. He made mistakes. Sometimes he wondered if all the effort was worth it. Months later, he completed his first small freelance project. It paid only a modest amount. But it proved something important. He had earned money from a second source. Instead of spending that extra income, he reinvested it into improving his skills. More clients came. Better opportunities followed. Within a few years, the income from his new skill became larger than his security job's salary. Eventually, he resigned, not because he hated his job, but because he had built something stronger. Years later, people looked at Joseph and said, "You are lucky." They never saw the hundreds of nights he spent learning while others were wasting time. His success wasn't built in one day. It was built one evening at a time. Lesson: never allow your financial future to depend on only one door. Because if that door closes, your entire life can become unstable. Ask yourself, what skill can I learn? What service can I provide? What problem can I solve for other people? Every valuable skill has the potential to become another source of income. You don't have to become an expert overnight. Start small. Stay consistent. Remember this: multiple streams of income don't usually begin as multiple streams of money. They begin as multiple streams of learning. Learn first. Serve people well. The income often follows. Transition to Chapter 4. But here's something surprising. Some people have opportunities. They have talent. They even have good ideas. Yet they never take the first step. Why? Because one invisible emotion keeps them trapped where they are. In the next chapter, we'll uncover one of the greatest enemies of financial success: the fear of failure. Chapter 4. They let fear control their decisions. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions a human being can experience. In the right situation, fear protects us. It keeps us away from danger. It helps us survive. But when fear begins controlling every financial decision, it becomes a prison. Millions of people stay poor not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack talent, but because they are afraid. Afraid of failing. Afraid of being laughed at. Afraid of losing money. Afraid of hearing the word no. Afraid of what family and friends might say. So they choose what feels safe. They stay in jobs they no longer enjoy. They ignore business ideas that could change their lives. They refuse to learn new skills because they think they're too old or too inexperienced. Years pass. Their dreams remain exactly where they started, in their imagination. here's something you should remember. Fear itself is not the problem. The problem is allowing fear to make your decisions. Every successful entrepreneur, every investor, every inventor, every leader has felt fear. The difference is that they acted anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward even while fear whispers, "You can't do this." Many people wait until they feel completely confident before taking action. That day rarely comes. Confidence doesn't usually come before action. It grows because of action. Every small step you take teaches your mind that you're capable of more than you believed. If you keep waiting for the perfect moment, you may spend your entire life waiting. Story: the woman who almost missed her opportunity. A woman named Grace had always dreamed of owning a small bakery. Since childhood, people praised her baking. Friends often said, "You should sell these." Customers told her, "You could turn this into a business." But Grace always had another excuse. "What if nobody buys? What if I lose my money? What if people laugh at me?" So she continued working at a job she didn't enjoy. One day, she met an elderly woman at the market. The woman noticed Grace carrying a box of homemade bread. After tasting one piece, she smiled and asked, "Do you sell these every day?" Grace shook her head. "I'm afraid the business might fail." The elderly woman looked at her and said something she would never forget. "My daughter, failure is expensive, but regret costs even more." Those words stayed with Grace. A week later, she baked just 20 loaves of bread. Not 200. Not 1,000. Just 20. She sold them to people in her neighborhood. Every loaf sold. The following week she baked 30. Then 50. Then 100. The business didn't become successful overnight. There were difficult days. Some products didn't sell. Some customers complained. She made mistakes with pricing. She lost money more than once. But each mistake taught her something new. 5 years later, Grace owned a bakery with several employees. People admired her success. They never saw the years she spent fighting the fear that almost stopped her from beginning. The greatest obstacle wasn't a lack of money. It was the fear inside her own mind. Lesson: ask yourself this question. What would I attempt if I weren't so afraid of failing? The answer may reveal the opportunity you've been avoiding. Don't wait until fear disappears. It probably won't. Instead, learn to move with it. Take one small step, then another. Remember, every expert was once a beginner. Every successful business was once just an idea. Every wealthy person once made their first investment. Every confident speaker once stumbled over their words. Growth begins the moment you decide that your dreams are more important than your fears. Failure is not the opposite of success. For most people, failure is part of the path to success. The people who eventually build wealth are not those who never fail. They are the ones who refuse to let failure become the end of their story. Transition to Chapter 5. Fear can stop you from taking the first step. But there's another force that's even more dangerous. It's so powerful that it can quietly shape your habits, your thinking, and even your future without you noticing. It isn't money. It isn't education. It isn't luck. It's the people you surround yourself with. In the next chapter, you'll discover how your circle can either pull you toward financial freedom or keep you trapped in poverty for years. Chapter 5. They surround themselves with the wrong people. There is an old saying, "Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future." At first, that sounds like an exaggeration. But think about it. The people you spend the most time with influence the way you think. They influence the risks you take. They influence how you spend your money. They influence your ambitions. And over time, they even influence what you believe is possible. Most people don't stay poor because they have poor friends. They stay poor because they are surrounded by people who have poor habits. There is a difference. A poor habit is not about how much money someone has. A poor habit is constantly complaining instead of improving. It is making excuses instead of taking responsibility. It is mocking people who are trying to grow. It is spending every weekend chasing temporary pleasure while ignoring long-term goals. If everyone around you believes success is impossible, eventually you'll begin believing it too. If everyone laughs at education, discipline, saving, investing, or building a business, you'll slowly begin doing the same. Human beings naturally adapt to their environment. That's why your environment matters so much. Imagine planting the healthiest seed in dry, rocky ground. Will it grow? Probably not. Now imagine planting the same seed in rich, fertile soil. With water and sunlight, it has every opportunity to thrive. Your mind is like that seed. The people around you are the soil. Choose your environment carefully, because it is either helping you grow or quietly holding you back. Story: The young man who changed his circle. There was a young man named Tund. He dreamed of becoming financially successful. But every evening after work, he met the same group of friends. They spent hours complaining. They blamed the government. They blamed their employers. They blamed successful people. Whenever someone mentioned learning a new skill or starting a business, they laughed. Why stress yourself? People like us don't become rich. Just enjoy life. At first, Tund laughed with them. But deep inside, he knew he wanted more. One day, he attended a free business seminar. He almost didn't go because his friends called it a waste of time. At the seminar, he met people who talked differently. Instead of discussing excuses, they discussed ideas. Instead of complaining about problems, they searched for solutions. Instead of spending every evening entertaining themselves, they spent time learning. For the first time, Tund realized something important. The conversations around you become the thoughts inside you. He slowly began changing his routine. He still respected his old friends. He didn't insult them. He didn't think he was better than them. But he spent less time in environments that pulled him backwards. Instead, he joined online communities where people shared business ideas. He found mentors through books and educational videos. He surrounded himself with people who challenged him to grow. The change wasn't immediate. It took years. But year after year, his thinking improved. His habits improved. His income improved. Eventually, he started a successful business. When people asked him what changed his life, they expected him to mention money. Instead, he smiled and said, "I changed who I listened to." Lesson: take a moment and ask yourself, who influences my thinking every day? Do the people around you encourage growth? Or do they encourage comfort? Do they celebrate your progress? Or do they criticize every attempt you make to improve yourself? Remember, not everyone can go where you're trying to go. Some people will support your dreams. Others will laugh until those dreams become reality. You don't have to argue with them. You don't have to prove them wrong. Let your results speak for you. If you cannot find successful people around you, don't lose hope. Today, mentors can be found through books, through educational podcasts, through documentaries, through biographies, through valuable online content. The voices you listen to every day will eventually become the voice inside your own mind. Choose those voices wisely, because your future may depend on them. Transition to Chapter 6. Your environment shapes your thinking. But even with the right mindset and the right people around you, there's one habit that destroys more financial dreams than almost anything else. It's a habit that feels good today, but quietly steals tomorrow. In the next chapter, we'll uncover why the need for instant gratification keeps most people poor, and why those who learn to wait often become the ones who build lasting wealth. Chapter 6. They choose instant gratification over long-term rewards. Imagine standing at a crossroads. One road promises pleasure today. The other promises freedom tomorrow. Most people choose the first road. Not because they're lazy. Not because they're unintelligent. But because the human brain naturally seeks immediate rewards. It feels good to buy something new. It feels exciting to spend money the moment it arrives. It feels easier to relax than to study. It feels more enjoyable to watch another episode than to build another skill. The problem is that what feels good today often creates pain tomorrow. And what feels difficult today often creates freedom tomorrow. This is one of the biggest reasons people stay poor. They constantly sacrifice their future for temporary comfort. Think about it. A person receives their salary on Friday. By Saturday, they've bought expensive clothes they didn't need. By Sunday, they've spent money trying to impress people they barely know. By Monday, they're worried about bills. Then they repeat the same cycle next month. This doesn't happen because they don't work hard. It happens because they haven't learned to delay gratification. Successful people understand something powerful. Every financial decision is a vote for the life you want. Every time you save instead of overspending, you're voting for freedom. Every time you learn a new skill instead of wasting hours scrolling endlessly, you're voting for growth. Every time you invest in your future instead of chasing temporary pleasure, you're building a life your future self will thank you for. Wealth is rarely built through one giant decision. It is built through thousands of small decisions that most people never notice. The person who becomes financially free isn't always the one who earns the most. It's often the one who consistently chooses tomorrow over today. Story: The Two Apprentices. Two young men, Emeka and Musa, started apprenticeships at the same workshop. They earned the same allowance every month. Whenever they received their money, Emeka spent almost all of it. He loved buying new trainers, expensive clothes, and the latest phone accessories. He wanted everyone around him to see that he was doing well. Musa enjoyed nice things too. But he made a different choice. He bought only what he needed. He saved a portion of every payment. With the money he saved, he bought tools that helped him improve his work. He paid for short training courses. He learned skills that made him more valuable. His friends laughed. "Why are you suffering yourself? Enjoy your money now. You only live once." Musa simply smiled. 5 years later, both men completed their apprenticeships. Emeka had little savings. He had no equipment. He had to borrow money just to start working on his own. Musa already owned most of the tools he needed. He had money saved. He had built relationships with customers through the extra skills he had learned. Within a short time, his small workshop began growing. Years later, Emeka admitted something that changed his life. He told Musa, "I thought you were missing out. Now I realize you were preparing." That conversation stayed with Musa forever. Because he understood a truth many people learn too late. Temporary pleasure can never replace long-term peace. Lesson: ask yourself this question whenever you're about to spend money or waste valuable time. Will this decision help the person I want to become? If the answer is no, pause. You don't have to deny yourself every enjoyment. Life should be enjoyed. But don't allow today's excitement to steal tomorrow's opportunities. Practice delayed gratification. Save before spending. Invest before celebrating. Build before showing off. Remember this: the pain of discipline lasts for a moment. The pain of regret can last a lifetime. Every small sacrifice you make today is an investment in the freedom you'll enjoy tomorrow. One day, while others are wondering where all their money went, you'll be grateful that you chose patience over impulse. Transition to Chapter 7. But even patient people can remain poor if they make one critical mistake. It's a mistake that slowly drains income, destroys peace of mind, and keeps people working for yesterday's decisions. In the next chapter, we'll uncover one of the most dangerous financial traps of all: the trap of bad debt and poor financial habits. Chapter 7. They become trapped by bad debt and poor financial habits. Debt is not always the enemy. In fact, some forms of debt can help people build businesses, invest in education, or acquire assets that increase in value over time. But the kind of debt that keeps most people poor is different. It is the debt used to buy things that lose value. It is borrowing money to impress people. It is using tomorrow's income to pay for today's desires. It begins with one small loan, then another, then a credit purchase, then another repayment. Before long, A large part of every paycheck is already promised to someone else before it even arrives. Imagine working an entire month, only to discover that most of your income belongs to debts you created months ago. That is the invisible prison many people live in. The saddest part is that it often starts with something that seems harmless. Buy now, pay later. It's only a small monthly payment. You deserve it. Little by little, those small payments become heavy chains. Instead of building wealth, people spend years paying for things they no longer use. Bad financial habits work the same way. Buying without planning. Ignoring a budget. Never saving. Spending first and hoping there will be enough left later. These habits seem small, but repeated over months and years, they quietly shape a person's future. Success is built through habits. Poverty is often reinforced by habits too. Every financial decision is like planting a seed. Some seeds grow into freedom. Others grow into financial stress. The choice is made every single day. Story: the man who bought success instead of building it. A young man named Chinita had just been promoted at work. For the first time in his life, he earned a good salary. He promised himself that life was finally going to change. Instead of creating a financial plan, he began chasing a lifestyle. He borrowed money to buy a luxury car. He financed expensive furniture. He upgraded his phone every year. Whenever friends visited, everything looked impressive. People admired him. Some even said, "Chinita has made it." Those compliments made him feel successful. But behind closed doors, his reality was very different. Every month, repayment messages filled his phone. His salary disappeared almost immediately. He couldn't save. He couldn't invest. He couldn't handle emergencies. Then one day, the company where he worked announced major staff reductions. Chinita lost his job. The expensive car remained. The loans remained. The monthly payments remained. But the salary was gone. Within months, he sold many of the things he had worked so hard to buy. Even then, it wasn't enough. One afternoon, he visited his uncle, an elderly carpenter who had quietly built a comfortable life. His uncle listened patiently before saying, "My son, never borrow money to look successful. Build success first, and let your lifestyle catch up later." Those words hit Chinita deeply. After finding another job, he changed everything. He created a budget. He paid off one debt at a time. He stopped buying things to impress others. He began saving consistently. He invested in learning new skills instead of buying new luxuries. The process was slow, sometimes frustrating. But year after year, the burden became lighter. Eventually, he experienced something he had never felt before: financial peace. Not because he earned millions, but because he finally controlled his money instead of allowing money to control him. Lesson: ask yourself this question before every major purchase. Am I buying this because I truly need it, or because I want other people to admire me? That one question can save you years of financial struggle. Develop habits that build wealth instead of destroying it. Live below your means. Create a budget and follow it. Save consistently, even if it's a small amount. Avoid unnecessary debt whenever possible. And remember this powerful truth: money is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. If you control your financial habits today, your financial habits will reward you tomorrow. If your habits control you, they will quietly keep you poor for years. Transition to Chapter 8. Many people think money is their most valuable resource. It isn't. There is something even more valuable. Something that every rich person and every poor person receives in exactly the same amount every single day. Once it's gone, you can never get it back. In the next chapter, you'll discover why wasting time is one of the hidden reasons most people never build wealth, and how using your time wisely can completely change your future. Chapter 8. They waste time instead of building value. Every person on earth wakes up with the same 24 hours. The billionaire has 24 hours. The university student has 24 hours. The factory worker has 24 hours. The entrepreneur has 24 hours. Time is the one resource that is distributed equally. Yet the results people achieve with that time are completely different. Why? Because most people don't lose their future in one dramatic moment. They lose it 1 hour at a time. One unnecessary distraction. One more episode. One more hour of endless scrolling. One more day saying, "I'll start tomorrow." Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. Before they realize it, another year has disappeared. And their life hasn't changed. Here's a hard truth. Being busy is not the same as being productive. Many people spend their entire day doing things that keep them occupied but never move them closer to financial freedom. They complain they don't have time to learn a new skill. Yet they spend 3 or 4 hours every evening on things they won't even remember next week. Imagine if you invested just 1 hour every day into learning a valuable skill. 1 hour reading books. 1 hour studying business. 1 hour improving your craft. 1 hour practicing communication. 1 hour mastering technology. That may not seem like much today, but over 1 year, those small investments become hundreds of hours of growth. That growth becomes confidence. Confidence becomes opportunity. Opportunity becomes income. Successful people don't simply value money. They value time because they understand that time creates money. Once an hour is gone, no amount of wealth can buy it back. That's why they ask themselves an important question every day. Is what I'm doing right now creating the future I want? Story: The Carpenter and His Apprentice. An old carpenter named Baba Ade had an apprentice named Sei. Every morning, they arrived at work together. During breaks, Sei spent most of his time watching funny videos on his phone. He would laugh, share clips with friends, and say, "Life is too short to work all the time." Baba Ade never criticized him. Instead, during those same breaks, the old carpenter opened a notebook. He sketched furniture designs. He calculated costs. He studied new techniques. Sometimes he simply read books about improving his business. Sei couldn't understand it. One afternoon he asked, "Baba, why are you always studying? You've been doing this work for over 30 years. The old carpenter smiled. "My son, the day I stop learning is the day I stop growing." Years passed. Sei became a good carpenter. But only a good carpenter. Baba Ade became something much more. He built a furniture company. He trained workers. He signed contracts with hotels and schools. His income grew far beyond what he earned from making furniture with his own hands. One day Sei visited his former master. He saw the large workshop, the delivery trucks, the employees, the growing business. He quietly asked, "How did you get this far?" Baba Ade looked at him kindly and replied, "I used my free time to build the future, while many people use theirs only to escape the present." Those words stayed with Sei forever. He realized he had never lacked time. He had simply failed to use it wisely. Lesson: take an honest look at how you spend your day. Don't ask, "Where did my time go?" Ask, "Where did I choose to spend it?" Because every hour is a choice. Entertainment has its place. Rest is necessary. But don't let temporary comfort consume the hours that could transform your life. Replace just 1 hour of distraction each day with 1 hour of growth. Read. Learn. Practice. Build. Replace just 1 hour of distraction each day with 1 hour of growth. Read. Learn. Practice. Build. Create. Improve. These small actions may seem insignificant today, but years from now, they can completely change the direction of your life. Remember this powerful truth. Poor people often spend time to escape reality. Successful people spend time creating a better reality. The choice is yours. Every single day. Transition to Chapter 9. But even after changing your mindset, managing your money wisely, building new skills, and using your time well, there is one final trap that keeps millions of people stuck. It's a habit so common that many don't even realize they're doing it. They spend their lives pointing fingers at everyone else, instead of taking responsibility for their own future. In the next chapter, we'll uncover why blaming others is one of the fastest ways to remain poor, and why personal responsibility is the beginning of lasting wealth. Chapter 9. They blame everything except themselves. One of the greatest differences between people who remain stuck and people who move forward is not intelligence. It is not talent. It is not even opportunity. It is responsibility. Most people who stay poor become experts at finding someone else to blame. They blame the government. They blame the economy. They blame their boss. They blame their parents. They blame where they were born. They blame their lack of connections. They blame bad luck. Now, let's be honest. Some of these challenges are real. Life is not equally fair. Some people are born with advantages that others never have. Some face genuine hardships that make success much more difficult. But here's the question that changes everything. What can I do with the situation I'm in today? Because while you may not control where you started, you can control what you do next. The moment you spend all your energy blaming others, you give away the power to change your own life. Responsibility is not about accepting blame for everything. It is about accepting ownership of your future. Think about it this way. If someone else is responsible for your success, then you must wait for them to change before your life can improve. But if you accept responsibility, you no longer have to wait. You can begin today. Every successful person eventually reaches a moment where they stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can this teach me?" That simple shift changes everything. It transforms victims into leaders, dreamers into achievers, and ordinary people into extraordinary examples of perseverance. Story: The farmer who stopped complaining. In a small village lived two farmers, Hassan and Elijah. One year, the rains came late. Their crops began to dry. Every morning, Hassan stood outside his field complaining. "The weather has ruined everything. The government doesn't help farmers. Nothing good ever happens to me." He spent hours talking about his problems, but he rarely looked for solutions. Elijah faced the same drought. His land was no different. His challenges were no smaller. But instead of spending his days complaining, he asked himself, "What can I still do?" He began collecting rainwater whenever it fell. He dug simple channels to guide water to his crops. He learned new farming techniques from experienced farmers in nearby communities. He planted crops that required less water. His harvest wasn't perfect. He still lost part of his farm, but enough survived to keep his family going. The following season, he was even better prepared. Years later, visitors noticed that Elijah's farm had grown into one of the most successful in the area. They asked him, "What's your secret?" He smiled and said, "I stopped wasting energy on things I couldn't control, and I started improving the things I could." Hassan heard those words. For the first time, he realized something painful. The weather had affected both of them, but only one had allowed it to control his future. That day changed his life. He stopped complaining. He started learning. He worked harder than ever before. Slowly, season by season, his farm improved too. His greatest victory wasn't over drought. It was over his own mindset. Lesson: take a moment to ask yourself a difficult question. Do I spend more time making excuses or making progress? This question is uncomfortable, but it can also be life-changing. Every time you catch yourself blaming someone else, pause and ask, "What is one action I can take today?" Maybe you need to learn a new skill. Maybe you need to save a little more. Maybe you need to read one chapter of a book instead of watching another hour of television. Maybe you need to start the business you've been postponing. The action doesn't have to be huge. It simply has to move you forward. Remember this powerful truth. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. The day you take responsibility for your future is the day your future truly begins. No one is coming to rescue you. And while that may sound harsh, it is also incredibly empowering. Because it means the power to change your life is already in your hands. Transition to Chapter 10. We've uncovered the beliefs, the habits, the fears, the spending, the people, the distractions, and the excuses that keep most people poor. But there is one final reason that ties all the others together. It's the difference between people who dream about a better life and those who actually create one. In the final chapter, you'll discover the most important lesson of this entire journey. Why taking consistent action is the ultimate key to escaping poverty and building lasting wealth. Chapter 10. They never take consistent action. We've reached the final chapter, and if you've stayed with me until now, you've probably noticed something important. None of the reasons we've discussed are really about money. They're about choices. They're about habits. They're about mindset. They're about action. Because at the end of the day, knowledge alone will never make you wealthy. Think about it. Millions of people know they should save money, but they don't. Millions know they should invest in themselves, but they don't. Millions know they should stop wasting time, but they don't. Millions dream of starting a business, learning a high-income skill, reading more books, building better habits, but their dreams remain exactly that. Dreams. Why? Because they never take consistent action. The truth is simple. Ideas don't change lives. Action changes lives. Reading one book won't make you successful. Watching one motivational video won't make you wealthy. Listening to this video once won't transform your future. Transformation happens when knowledge becomes daily action. Small actions, repeated consistently, day after day, month after month, year after year. That is how ordinary people build extraordinary lives. Most people are waiting for motivation. They tell themselves, I'll start when I feel ready. I'll begin when I have more money. I'll do it next month. But successful people understand something different. Action creates motivation. The more you act, the more confident you become. The more confident you become, the more you grow. Waiting for the perfect moment is one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves. The perfect moment rarely arrives. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is today. Every successful person you admire once stood exactly where you are now. Confused, uncertain, afraid. The difference is that they started anyway. They failed. They learned. They improved. And then they kept going. Consistency always beats intensity. It's better to improve 1% every day for a year than to work hard for 1 week and quit. Wealth is built brick by brick, habit by habit, decision by decision. Story: the man who changed his life one day at a time. There was a man named Ibrahim. He was tired of living from one paycheck to another. Every new year, he made the same promise. This year will be different. He bought notebooks. He watched motivational videos. He wrote down big goals. But after a few weeks, nothing changed. One evening, his grandfather noticed how discouraged he had become. The old man handed him a small seed. He said, "Plant this." Ibrahim laughed. "How can one tiny seed make any difference?" His grandfather smiled. "It won't become a tree tomorrow. But if you plant it, water it, and care for it every day, one day you'll sit under its shade." Those words changed Ibrahim's thinking. The next morning, he stopped chasing overnight success. Instead, he focused on one small improvement every day. He read 10 pages of a book. He saved a little money every week. He learned one new skill every evening. He exercised to improve his health. He tracked every naira he spent. Some days he felt motivated. Some days he didn't. But he kept going. Months became years. His savings grew. His skills became valuable. He started a small business on weekends. That business slowly expanded. One day, while sitting outside his new home, he noticed the tree his grandfather had asked him to plant years earlier. It was now large enough to provide shade for his family. His grandfather's lesson finally became clear. Great things grow slowly. Not because they are weak, are built to last. Ibrahim realized his success had grown exactly like that tree. Not overnight, but one faithful day at a time. Final lesson. If you remember only one thing from this entire video, remember this. Your future is not created by what you know. Your future is created by what you repeatedly do. You don't have to become rich this month. You don't have to know everything before you begin. You don't need perfect conditions. You simply need to take the next right step. Start saving. Start learning. Start investing in yourself. Start reading. Start building. Start today. Because every day you delay is another day your future waits. And every day you act is another brick in the foundation of the life you want. 1 year from now, you will either wish you had started today, or you'll be grateful that you did. The choice has always been yours. Conclusion. If this video challenged the way you think about money, don't let it become just another video you watched. Let it become the day you decided to change. Remember the 10 lessons we've learned. Change your beliefs about money. Spend less than you earn. Build more than one source of income. Don't let fear make your decisions. Choose friends who inspire growth. Delay gratification for long-term freedom. Stay away from bad debt and build healthy financial habits. Use your time to create value. Take responsibility for your future. And above all, take consistent action. You don't have to change your entire life overnight. Just change one habit, then another, then another. Those small changes, repeated consistently, have the power to completely transform your future. If you found value in this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message today. And if you're committed to building a stronger mindset, greater discipline, and lasting success, make sure you subscribe and join us on this journey. Master your mind. Transform your life. I'll see you in the next video.